Hello, everybody. Welcome back. And I have another guest for you. This interview is a bit longer because, of course, this man, he's old, he's long-winded. There's nothing I can do about it. It is Sixpack Steve 28. Hope you enjoy it. See you later. There you go. Hello, Steve.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. Hello, Frida. I have to say hello from Shelley. How is she?
She is surveying her kingdom, looking at everything that's going by and disapproving of it.
That's Steve, really. She does all the reading and you do all the talking, right? That's why she's always knocked out when you do the talking.
My baby has no interest in books. She doesn't even eat them. I've had dogs that were at least interested in eating them. She has no interest in doing that at all.
Mine either.
Perfectly
She
safe.
just thinks they're in the way.
But we have a special occasion, yes, for this conversation. It's
my first year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So what do you think? What are your thoughts at 1 year of BookTube?
Oh, it flew by like it was nothing, you know? I love it. I love doing it. And every time I press on the record button or the stop button, I already start thinking about a new video. So I love it. It's a lot of work, of course, because I want to prepare stuff and think about. I'm not like you. You can talk for hours and hours without even. Because for me, it's also getting used to talking in English because it's not something that I'm used to do. I only talk English when I'm recording. And,
really?
Yeah.
You only talk English for BookTube?
Yeah.
And it's your third language? Your fourth language?
The third. French is second, yeah.
You only talk English for BookTube. Boy, oh boy. I don't know anybody else who could say that.
No, because I don't need it. Of course, now since I've met a couple of people in real life and then and I have friends, of course, that speak English, but I don't see them every day. So we only see each other like once a month or once every 2 months. So I don't have to speak it a lot.
Do you have any daily bookish contact that is not BookTube?
No.
Any regular bookish contact that isn't daily but still happens regularly? Do you have like bookish friends?
No.
Wow.
It's thanks to YouTube that it all started. So now I have a reading club in real life that I started myself in my local library. We're 8 people already. So for a very small village, our village is only 7,200 people.
Oh,
so that's very small. and it took them 20 years to start one. It never got off, and I started it, and then they were. So I was at the right time.
Or maybe you picked the right books.
That maybe too. Yeah, I tend not to take the books that are popular. So I let them read stuff that they are not used to reading. And if there are like genres, I try to find a literary version of that genre so they can learn something new about reading and about the genre, in fact.
And you make a lot of videos. For somebody, I presume, has other things to do.
three videos a week, yeah.
And they represent a large amount of standard BookTube stuff, right? I mean, there are book hauls, there are tags.
Mm-hmm.
Get involved in any discussion that's going around. Mm-hmm. But you also have individual features of your own channel, right? Your coffee match, for instance.
Yeah,
and your writing videos.
Yeah.
Do you get good response to that? I guess, I mean, I hate to call it original content because it's all original, but you know what I mean. Stuff that isn't working off a BookTube template.
Well, the things that work the best are the coffee clutch, because a lot of people have heard that word before. It's Dutch, but it's also German, and a lot of people, like from New York, which was a former Dutch city in a way, they heard that word too by their grandparents, and yeah, so a lot of people are, everybody is an immigrant in the States. As long as you're not a Native American, everybody is an immigrant. So they hear that word and it has something special for them. But now what I'm recently doing is go more into things like women in literature, if they are perceived the same as the men and stuff like that. That worked really well.
Eye-opening study that you talked about.
Yeah, but even today, this weekend, they announced the long list of our Dutch boeker. It's a Libris Literatuurprijs, and only one woman was nominated. Although more women publish. Only one woman was nominated.
Was there outcry?
No, nobody reacted.
Nobody reacted. Oh my God. Well, that was the impression I got from that study that you talked about, is that it's an incredibly misogynistic publishing world.
Yeah. It still is. It still is. It's like when a young woman publishes a novel, they mostly talk about her looks and appearances, and it's really weird. It's really weird. It still is very sexistic. Sexist. Yeah.
It was weird for me to read that study, considering.
Yeah. They said it was better in the English world, English part of the world, but still there was still some work to do. But the last couple of years, a lot have changed. That's for sure. A lot has changed.
Yes. Yes.
It has.
I agree. The number of men in the American periodical book review world who could actually commission a review, the guys who could write you a check, I could fit in this room with plenty of room to spare. Plenty of room to spare. And I could fill a sports auditorium with the women in that role. It's not even 60-40. It's not nowhere close to that. So that study struck me as wild. I have scarcely ever in the last 10 years got a check from a man for a piece of writing.
But then again, no, but it's often like in the Netherlands and in Belgium, it's mostly the women that are the harshest towards the women.
Really? Oh my. What is the do you know what the publishing world, I mean, we know what the reception is like. The reception seems to be very misogynistic. But what about the publishing world? If you're a 20-something young woman, you've gone to a good school, you've had lots and lots of practice, lots and lots of preparation, you've been working on your debut novel for a long time, you want to publish it in Dutch. What are your chances like? Do you need to get it? They're good? Yes. Yeah. And so the problem is at the other end. That young woman will have to worry about a review of her work in a major journal, concentrating on what she looks like.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And especially the second book. The first book, no problem. No problem. You will get reviews, people will rave. But then the second book, they say,
Whereas that doesn't happen with second books by men.
No. The funny thing is, and I didn't say that in that video, they took a paragraph from 50 Shades of Grey. The book you've read, of course, 50 Shades of Grey. And then a paragraph from an author that is very literary. He's one of the top classics writers in the Netherlands, still living, and they gave it to people to read, and they had to point out which one was written by a famous author, and they all were wrong. They all picked 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah, really, it was startling.
So did you get good reactions to that video?
Yeah, of course. But some, the negative reactions weren't actually not on my channel, but on Ollie's, who reposted my video. And then were men like, why is this a question? Are men better authors? Why is this a question? Well, it really is. And thinking that everything is the same now, like for men and women, that's not true. And but it's not my intention to be on the barricades, but still, I found it interesting to know.
What about comments in general on your year on BookTube? How do you characterize them? Do you look forward to engaging in the comments?
Yeah, of course. I always reply, and I always, when they give me tips, I try to read them, and if I can find them, of course, and not too expensive because I have to buy everything myself. So yeah, well, I try, and that's the fun thing, because it's so all over the world. People come with, you have people from Azerbaijan, oh, you should read our national author, she's really good. And then you do, and you think, oh, that's really good. And those are fantastic moments. And you meet people in real life afterwards, and that's fun. You meet people, and there are also authors that contact you, and that's fun to thank you, and to yeah, it's fun.
Now, booktubers have commented over the years on a particular phenomenon. I wonder if it applies to you. They've commented that yes, the comments are wonderful, and I love responding to people and taking their advice and getting suggestions and whatnot, but the one negative comment will stick with me much longer than a dozen.
Oh yeah, but that's classic.
For you as well? That's
classic. But I only had one negative comment, and I thought it was hilarious. So it
you only had one negative comment in a year?
Yeah, only one.
Oh my! Oh my!
I think they don't dare. I think they're afraid. No, only one, and it was hilarious. I made a deep dive video for The Shards by Bret Easton Ellis, and he said, well, this is a horrible review. Nothing, it doesn't do justice to his talent or something. I thought it was so hilarious because it was a very raving review. And I thought, well, he clearly hasn't watched it. So
one negative comment in a whole year. Huh? One negative comment in a whole year of making videos.
A whole year, yeah. In 150 videos.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I have noticed a distinct difference in the tenor of comments left on BookTube channels by women as opposed to those by men.
Yeah.
You aren't getting negative comments, so you wouldn't know. Well, maybe you don't consider them negative. I've noticed that in the comment section of a lot of BookTube channels by women, people will come on and simply instruct. They'll come on and simply say,
mansplain.
Man, wait, okay. Yeah, so a lot of times they have BookTube, pseudonyms. I guess we can assume they're all men. In this particular case, I think we can assume they're all men. We'll just come on and take the most fatherly, professorial tone, like, well,
I don't think they do that with me.
No,
I don't think they dare. And if they do, I agree to disagree. So I don't care. So it happens that people say, oh, when I rave about a book and somebody says it really wasn't for me, but that's no critique towards me that's just about the book, so it's not personal. So I don't see it as a negative critique. So I don't care really. I don't
Every
really
once
care
in a
what
while-
people think. So
Every once in a while, I'll get a comment like that myself, and I never know what to do about it. I really don't. When I make a video in which I
it's
mention,
their right not to
It's
like
their
a
right.
book that I really like.
but to assume superiority, that seems. I mean, it never fails that when I make a video mentioning that I have never got along well with the novels of Charles Dickens, it never fails that somebody will go into the comments section and say, well, you should try Nicholas Nickleby. Like I wasn't reading the book before they were born. Like I'm asking for advice about Charles Dickens. And I don't know where that impression comes from. I don't know where.
Yeah, there are a lot of popular authors that I don't like. So yeah, it's not for me. It's just, you can't, it's like when you meet people in person, you can't like everybody. You can't. You simply can't. You can like every dog you meet, but you can't like everyone. That's impossible. And I see, in a way, authors, yeah, of course, as people, but it's the same thing. You vibe with them or you don't.
I've never met a dog in person. I've never met a dog I didn't like.
Yeah, me neither.
Honestly, in the course of my 28 sexy years, I've scarcely ever met a person in real life that I didn't like.
Yeah.
That scarcely ever happens.
Yeah, me neither, but there are people that don't like you. You know that.
Yes.
You know that.
Although there are very few examples that come to mind of people who don't like me once they've met me.
Yeah, but that's another thing. They have
where it all gets screwed up. But
yeah.
But so what is, you say you make 3 videos a week. What is that process like? Do you plan them ahead of time, or do you think, well, no. So it's an organic thing. It's just what's bubbling up inside me that I want to do.
Yeah.
Even if it's a regular type of thing. It's been a while since I did a review. I feel like doing a review.
No, I do my coffee clutch, which is regular. I do my deep dive on Fridays, where I talk about a book or an author or a backstory of something that has happened in the literary world. And then I have my midweek check-in, and midweek check-in is mostly book haul or what I have read so far that week, because I read a book a day. So yeah, you already have a couple of books to talk about. And or I talk about buddy read or whatever. So it's not very difficult, but I'm not a person who writes a whole script. A lot of people write a whole script. I don't do that. I don't have anything in mind before I start talking. It just pops up. And even for the Friday deep dives, I just start talking. And
people have a hard time with that. Some people have a hard time doing that.
Yeah.
They might have a whole bunch of points in mind that they want to hit, but if they start off without those points listed on paper,
they panic. Yeah.
Or it just goes out of their mind, whether they're panicking or not. They just forget what they want to say.
Yeah.
I think it just comes down to the way your mind is wired.
Yeah, it's working. Because I think as storytellers, you already have learned to think with a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Right.
So it comes natural.
So if you are a so-called natural storyteller, then that's right. I hadn't thought of that, but that's true. If you're a natural storyteller, you don't want to blurt out the climax. Right? You'll be telling things in a sequence.
My grandfather was a very well-known storyteller, but in the real sense of the word, he went to people's homes and he started telling, and within 3-4 minutes, 40 people were gathered around him because he was such a good storyteller. And he didn't talk about folklore stories. It were his own personal stories and the stories of his families. And there's, I think I told you before, there's one author who knew him and who followed him around and wrote everything down and used his stories for his own novels.
Oh my.
Yeah.
I think my grandfather spoke 200 words in his entire life.
Oh, my grandfather was a really good storyteller.
Wow. So
He
that
was
passed
really
on
good.
to you.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I was as a young child, I was fascinated by that author, and I didn't know that they knew each other. So my grandfather was living with us till I was 5, and then he passed away. And I started reading his books, and I always felt like at home in his books. And then many years later, like in
You found out
2018,
why. Many years later, you found out why they felt like, oh my. That's a great story in and of itself.
yeah, it was on the National Library. I found my father's name, and it were all the notes that Cyril Buys, it's the author's name, had taken, and my father's name was always in there. And then I knew, oh my God, that's the scene from that book, and that's the scene from that book. It all came from my grandfather.
And so, well, natural storytelling is one thing, and you have a rough structure to the videos that you make on your channel. But what about when you reach out to other people? You're right. You're doing a year-long collaboration with Micah Cummins.
Mm-hmm.
So how much?
He's such a difficult person to work with.
I agree.
Oh,
it's well known.
I feel like a babysitter.
It's well known. He's a pest.
Well, it goes so natural, Micah, and we really get along very well, and it works really well, and we have fun, and yeah.
Well, how long did it take you to decide that you wanted to do that's a long commitment. You have to be fairly certain that you're getting along well with the other booktuber in order to make a commitment like that.
We just decided it. We said, should we do this? Okay, let's launch it.
And is for listeners, we should clarify. We're talking about Classics and Company.
Yeah.
Year-long event that you and Micah are doing, where you're reading
together with VIP hosts.
Roughly a book a month.
Yeah, book every 6 weeks.
Every 6 weeks. And did you, when you were picking those books, were you yourself picking books that you hadn't read?
Yeah. To make it more fun. Because
I wondered about that myself. I'm doing a buddy read with Micah. We do buddy reads all the time. We also have talks about books, and I worried at first that would be uneven, that would make our buddy reads or our collaborations uneven, because we're inevitably going to pick a book that I already have read, and it hasn't been a problem at all. I always think that adds something when one person knows the work and the other doesn't. I think that adds something.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's fresh territory.
I'm doing another buddy read with him. We are reading Moby Dick together.
Is Moby Dick part of Classics and Company?
No. It's an extra one. Because we didn't have enough to read.
Is it your first time reading Moby Dick?
Yeah, thanks to the buddy read. Otherwise, I would have DNF'd it. Because I would not finish it. Because it took me a really long time to get into it. But then, after 50, 60 pages, I really fell in love with the book. It took me a while, because I'm not used to, I live in Belgium. Belgium is not a very Catholic country anymore. So all the biblical references, they go past me. And so it was good that Micah was there because I didn't want to let him down. So I kept on reading, and more got into the story. And now I really love it.
I always urge people, at least get to the launching of the Pequod. At least let the Pequod go out to sea before you do that, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Ideally, I mean, if nothing else works, wait until Ahab actually appears. But if you're not going to wait that long, at least wait until you go to sea. Don't quit before that. No,
it was really difficult at the beginning, but then, I love it. I love it so much. And the way he takes his time to introduce the characters, he introduces them long before they make their entrance. That's so magnificently done.
That's why I was a little bit surprised at first when you said that Micah's what stopped you from DNFing, because I admit I haven't known you except for the year you've been on BookTube, but Moby Dick is very much your kind of book, I would say. It's very much your kind of book, so that would be really weird.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I really enjoy it, so I'm glad
But you
that
and Micah are doing this in private.
Excuse me?
You're doing it in private? You're not making books?
Yeah, just for fun, yeah.
So you won't be having a special guest for Moby Dick?
For Moby Dick? Oh, we can. I can invite people like Bob the Booker or Ollie.
What about a special guest who's read it?
We can invite Frida. But we
Perhaps
can.
A special guest who's taught it many times. Perhaps a special guest who was the high school boyfriend of its author. Who's done?
Hey, wait a minute.
Read along.
You're 28, but the book was written in 1850-ish.
Math is difficult. It's complicated. We'd best not to think about it.
No.
So I don't want to derail the conversation to just Moby Dick, but I am infinitely curious when people read it for the first time. Where are you in the book?
I'm now
drawing you when you're doing other things. Are you thinking, I want to get back to this?
Yeah.
Does it draw you? Yes, it does.
Yeah. And it's funny when you read a book that you really like, you already think, oh, I'm going to reread this.
Oh yes, yes, yeah. Moby. There's precious little point to reading Moby Dick only once. Although that is the joke about rereading on the American comedy Seinfeld. Moby Dick is the actual book in question when they're talking about how dumb it is to reread a book. I saw that when it broadcast. I was watching. I was laughing at the episode, but when they got to that, I was just like, oh no.
It is. It really is. It's you already know before you finished it that you want to reread it. Have you? Yeah, yes, you have, but it must have been a very long time ago. So I'm also doing a buddy read with Ollie. We're doing the whole back oeuvre of Patricia Highsmith, and the 5th book is Deep Water. We both think that it's a lot better than Ripley.
Oh God, yes. She's another perfect example of an author who is now universally known for a second-rate book that they wrote. You could go right down the list. I mean, Melville, no. Stephen Crane, no. But you could go right down the list of authors who are synonymous now with books that are not their best work. I think the foremost example is A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. Everybody knows the book because of the Malcolm McDowell movie. The book, I mean, it made him wealthy. He was invited to all sorts of conventions and seminars and whatnot, but it's not a good book. It's not anywhere near his best book. It's just the really good books that he wrote didn't sell. The same thing is true with Patricia Highsmith. Oh my God. The people who judge her only by the Ripley books, especially the later Ripley books, they're missing so much.
Yeah, they do.
The same thing is true of Muriel Spark. I know that The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie has 1 million fans, but I think her books get better as they go along. So if you only judge her by that, you're. But
yeah, I'm so surprised that that's such a good book.
You and Ollie, I guess we should specify we're talking about Ollie from the channel Criminolly. I don't think we need to specify because it's an enormously popular channel. But you're reading everything?
Yeah.
Oh my.
All the 25 books.
That's a
2
great
books a month. Yeah.
Wow. That is a great project.
Yeah. Because he had read no, not even Strangers. No, I think he only read the Ripley book, and that's it, and he really liked it. And then I had read Carol and the Ripley book. So we thought, why not do it all and see how she evolves? Because when you read her notes and diaries, you can really follow her talent, where she writes, and then the decline towards the end. So I'm really curious how it will be with her later books in life, where she, where the drink gets too much, you know?
Yes. I meet so many young writers. I imagine you do too. I meet so many young writers who think, well, I want the whole package. I want to be a writer, so that means I have to be an alcoholic. And you tell them, no, it's going to destroy your talent. It's not going to make your talent. It's going to destroy your talent. And how you want to argue with them, and they come back and say, well, if it's going to destroy my talent, but it's also going to make me the author of A Clockwork Orange or The Talented Mr. Ripley, I'll take that trade-off. You just don't know. You don't know what to say to them. Well, what I always want to do is point them towards, the last 50 pages of any big collection of Highsmith's diaries. It's living hell that you're signing yourself up for.
You could really feel that she was losing her mind.
Yes, but as her talent is growing, she's getting more and more impatient with the constraints of normal narrative storytelling. I think you can see that impatience a couple of times, even in The Talented Mr. Ripley, which is a very commercial book. In a way, a very commercial book. The further along you go with her, though, the more you see that straining to, I know what you're expecting of me.
Her frustration is that she knows that she's a really, really good writer, but she never got any literary merit for it. She was never seen as one of the great authors, and only as a mystery author or a thriller author, and that was frustrating for her. She wanted to be seen as a very good author, period, and not in a genre author.
Not a genre author, right?
Yeah.
So this project with Ollie, this is also private? This has no videos? Yeah. What's going on here with all these private reading projects? Some of us are nosy, we want to know about these.
Well, we talk about, I think we will do a mid video and then a wrap-up video. I think we will do that. But it's actually just fun for us, and to discover her talent, and it has been great so far.
Nobody does these things with me, so I wouldn't know. I'm a little bit.
You refuse to buddy read with me, so you never have time, or I haven't got time, according to you. So I have to read I, Claudius all by myself.
We should. Oh, and I, Claudius, read along. Let's get a whole bunch of people involved.
Yeah.
I suggested that to you, didn't I? I suggested that we get a whole bunch of people together for
I said yes, and you said no. You have too many people. Or you have too much reading to do. You said that.
I want lots of people involved so that we can call it We Claudius.
Yeah.
But it has to be lots of people. We have to find other people who'll be involved, and it has to be forward-facing. None of this private reading stuff. Oh, good Lord. We're on BookTube, for God's sake. You want to make videos about everything. I've so much as a bowel movement, I make a video about it.
No. We even sometimes follow you to the toilet.
There used to be books in there, in the bathroom. I have a waterproof Kindle, so there's no reason for me. I used to worry because, when you run the shower, the whole room fills up with steam, and that can add mildew to a book very quickly. I don't bother anymore now. I have a waterproof Kindle. It's just perfect for that. How I wish, though, that I had an old-fashioned bathtub, the kind of thing you can sink into right up to here. I used to have one of those forever and ever. Now I don't
have one. I only have a shower here. It's the first time that I don't have a bathtub.
There's a kind of a bathtub attached to the shower here, but it's just with a rain puddle. You couldn't bathe a dog in it, let alone a person. So this I used to love that. I used to love I had a tray across the top, and I would set a book there and then just submerge down to here in the water and just read the book.
I use an app to find secondhand books because we don't have a Bravo. And sometimes you see other pictures that they really were were read during bath time because they are all wrinkled.
Yes, I miss that so much. I really do. There's no way to take a bath in the bathtub that I have here. Drives me crazy. The builders did it when I wasn't watching them. The whole room is set up. It could easily have happened. I guess maybe their complaint would have been that the floor would have needed to be reinforced, because a bathtub like that usually weighs a few hundred pounds on its own before you put water into it. So it's a lot. That's a lot to put on old wood or whatnot. I'm probably going to have to go to the Brattle tomorrow.
Oh.
It looks like we're getting rainy, stormy weather for the rest of the week. Tomorrow is a clear day.
Oh, poor you.
I'd have to go.
So then you have to go. Yeah. Frida. I have Muffin always by my side here next to me. Whenever I'm working or eating, she always wants to sit on a chair next to me and always with her shoulders against me. Always, but you can't see her because she's sleeping.
Frida needs to be within easy reach of me, but she doesn't need to cuddle. It's not all
only
that.
When I'm working, and when I'm reading, then she is in another sofa or even another room.
Oh God, no! Frida never goes out of sight of me. Never.
Oh yeah. She likes, but then I hear in front of my window here. There's a school, and little for toddlers and up until 12, the age of 12. So she can see the teacher busy and the kids drawing, and she likes watching that. And the kids are always waving and shouting at her. And
Frida does the shouting with the kids in my neighborhood. She yells at them to come and fuss over her. And they all love it. All love it. Yeah. I just have to instruct them. That's all. I gently instruct them. Don't dart. Don't make quick, sudden movements. Don't reach for the top of her head to pet her. You're reaching past her eyes, past her. How would you like that? How would you like it if I walked behind you and patted your back? Reach underneath her head. Reach so that she can see you the whole time. Do that and do it nice and slow. And you'll love the results. You'll absolutely love the results. And they do. They learn very quickly, and then they do. But the sunlight is slowly obliterating me here. We are going to have to go on a walk very soon.
Yeah, me too, because I have Micah coming on the channel too. So.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. The young kid, well, he cried.
Making a video without me, the two of you.
Yeah.
So what's this for? Is this for Classics&Company?
No. It's for the coffee clutch.
Oh, you have guests. Oh,
yeah.
So for Classics&Company, this was your first Pessoa?
Yeah. No, my second. Because there's also a Dutch book, The Chronic of Life or something like that, which was beautiful. And the Book of Disquiet was my first read too. But it brings a lot of discussion, which is good. And but I always ask to keep it moderate so they don't get too heated up.
I am one of your special guest stars for Classics&Company myself, am I not?
Yes. The Tale of Genji.
The Tale of Genji. Oh my! Which is by far the longest thing on your year list, isn't it?
The
you're doing Anna
is
Karenina.
also a big one, huh?
You're doing Anna Karenina?
Yeah.
Yes, that's also long. Yes.
Yeah.
I think Genji is probably
the last one. That's the last one. And the fictions, the book of fictions from Borges is also a long one. We are doing that with Bob Donoghue, Bob the Bookerer, Bob Donoghue. No, Bob the Bookerer. And then I'm always also looking forward to the Memoirs of Adrian by Jursenaar, yeah. So yeah, it's a good list.
It is a
It's a
good list.
divisive list, but it's a good one. Those that everybody, if everybody likes the book, then it's something is wrong.
Surely everybody will like Genji. Surely everybody will like Anna Karenina, for Pete's sake. Who doesn't like Anna Karenina?
You never know.
So are you looking forward to another year on BookTube?
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not tired of it.
Does anybody in your real life know that you have a BookTube? Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not interested.
No. Wow.
Nobody watches.
Are there any other booktubers in the Netherlands? Do you think?
Yeah. There's a big one. Yeah, there's a very big one who has like 200,000 subscribers, mostly fantasy. She also speaks, does a BookTube channel in Dutch, in English. There are a couple, and there's one Belgian who started after me, also in English. Yeah, so we're with two from Belgium now, and I was the first.
And the bookstores in Belgium? Good?
Yeah.
What about secondhand bookstores? No Brattle bookshop, but still, are they good?
Yeah. No, in Belgium, it's still very common to give a book as a gift. So birthdays, New Year, Christmas, Easter, we give books mostly. And so there are the indie bookstores are thriving.
Oh, really? Oh, good.
Yeah, they are doing really well because it's mostly the chains that suffer, like Fnac and those suffer more. But the small indie bookstores, they do well because they also do more. They invite authors. They have residencies where.
Don't the chain bookstores do that too? Why are they suffering? Is it their rent?
Probably. Oh. And also a lot of labor is very expensive in Europe. So small book stores, husband, wife, or two friends, that's cheaper. So and they have also a sort of union sort of thing. So they do a lot of things together and they promote each other. So it's a very close community. So that's nice. Yeah. Like we have Passaporta, they have a literary festival. They are inviting, like this month, I think it's today, Annie Arnaud is coming. And she is interviewed by Connie Palmen, which is the grande dame of Dutch literature. So that's wonderful. So really interesting stuff happening. Yeah.
Good. Wonderful. They should invite you on.
They with my 700 and something followers, that's not big enough. Yeah, it happens.
Slowly being swallowed by the sun here. I should probably go.
I'm off because Thank you for coming over to my little BookTube party.
Your birthday party. 1 year on BookTube. Wow. Wow. Yeah. I'm a month away from my own BookTube anniversary.
Yeah.
Wow.
7 years? 6 years?
Well, it would help if I could count. 7. I think it is 7 years.
Yeah. I know better than you do.
So I would have to look at my first video, and I still don't know how to do that. There's a way for you, when I see the list of videos, there's a way to reverse the list so that the oldest one is first. I don't know how to do that. So I don't know the exact date, but I think it's 7 years.
So I have a long way to go. But I'm looking forward to it.
you're enjoying it. That's the key.
Yeah, I really do. I
You
really
look forward to it.
Yeah, I
So do
really
I.
do. It doesn't feel like a job or something. So yeah, whenever you have fun. It's great.
Good.
So yeah, I have to let you go. Thank you for coming over to my party, and we'll talk later.
Yes, indeed.
Maybe about Moby Dick. Maybe we Claudius.
I'd
We'll
love
see.
to come on and talk about Moby Dick with you and Micah. I would love to.
Yeah, we will. We will. Bye-bye, Steve. Thank you.